with that, let's go in a little closer. So this Ducati Monster is the Ducati Monster 1200R in thrilling black. It comes in two colors. It comes in thrilling black and it comes in a red color, and I can't think of the name of the red that they call it, but thrilling black is what this is. And it's a shiny black, unlike some of the other blacks that they put out before that are matte black. It comes with a lot of the Ducati detail that you have come to expect from Ducati, like the 1200R on the rear tail. And then also what you'll find is actually a really nice feature of this bike that you will easily be able to distinguish this from other Monster 1200s is that it has R on the cooler. And so you'll see on the side has R in brushed aluminum, and it just kind of makes this bike pop a lot more. There are a lot of carbon fiber bits that the standard bikes do not have. As you can see in the front, it just makes the bike lighter. And this bike overall is actually not that heavy. It's I think the total weight of this bike is 390 kilograms. It says so it's not really that heavy of a bike. This bike is super agile, super quick. As you can see, I'm going around looking at some of the detailing on it, but it's super agile, super quick. The exhaust that it came with, which was actually a decent standard exhaust, but this is an upgraded exhaust. This is a Terminoni aftermarket, but made for Ducati exhaust, and it comes with the ECU chip to tune it to make sure that you get better performance. Some of the things that you'll notice about this bike that are actually quite different. It has an Olin front end suspension stabilizer, and so with the normal Monsters, they do not come with the stabilizer. You find the stabilizer usually standard equipment on the sport bikes, but on this one it has a stabilizer, which means at high speeds you can actually ride comfortably on this bike. One of the things that you'll also notice is in the rear, it has the Olin rear suspension spring and coil, and that's a tunable coil that you can use for the track. I've not adjusted it except for when I got it. I adjusted it for my height. And then it also has Olin shocks in the front, so you can see that they really set this up nicely for the track. The other thing that you'll notice is that it has big Bimbro dual side calipers on the front for braking, and then they have a single Bimbro caliper on the back. And this makes the stopping power of this bike phenomenal. The thing like I said, I really like about this bike is that it is able to perform just like a not street fighter, but a sport bike, but you get kind of the comfort and styling of a kind of a street bike. And so let's go into looking at the display, and you'll see some of the things that I find that are just really nice about it. So I'm going to turn the display on, and I want you to see what's nice about it. The first thing that comes up is Ducati Racing, and you'll see from the display that it is the same display that they have on the 1299 Panigale. It is a full color display that actually switches into day mode and night mode, and I'm gonna try to go through some of these modes with you while we're sitting here. I'm gonna switch it into first so it doesn't roll around, but we're gonna switch into day mode and night mode if I can figure it out. One of the things you can do too is this is like the touring display, but it has 3 different modes. So it has touring, sport, and urban. Touring is it gives you all the power of the bike, but the settings allow you not to go out there and just kind of pop wheelies all the time and maybe kill yourself. The other mode is it has urban. Urban mode is for when you're riding around the street, and it limits the power to about 100 horsepower. I forgot to mention that this bike is 160 horsepower, so it is actually a pretty powerful bike. But the urban mode limits it to low engine mode, which is 100 horsepower. I'm going to try to put it in that right now. And as you can see, the display changes. So that's the urban display. I particularly don't necessarily care for that display too much because it doesn't give as much information as I would like. But it's, again, if you're buying this bike, and this is a good bike, even if you're a kind of a beginner, you can ride around in urban mode, and again, it will allow you to feel the style and torque of Ducati without necessarily making it too crazy for a beginning rider. And then the final mode is the sport mode, and the sport mode gives you all of the abilities of the track. And as you can see, it has limited information, basically just the information that you need from the track. You don't need much more information. You can actually hook a lap computer to it, and it'll count your laps, count your speed. And so some of the things that I really like about, you know, this new display that they've included, which is the full color display, is that it gives you those options to really make the driving experience or riding experience the best possible. As you can see, I went back to the touring mode. The touring mode, again, gives you full power of the bike. It does the ABS and the slip control. It turns it up so it's more so suited for kind of the city driving, but it gives you information like, you know, trip computer, the air temperature. You can change it, as you can see your consumption. It changes your average speed. So it gives you a lot of information, and with the trip things, you see the trip time, the total mileage, things like that. So it's a fairly comprehensive display. We're gonna turn this on now, just so you can hear the sound of it. But it's a really awesome machine. So let's crank it up just so you can hear what it sounds like. Now, it may be a little bit difficult to hear, but that is exhaust. It's just one exhaust coming out of the rear, and we're gonna crank it a little bit so you can hear what it sounds like. When you're riding on the street, I'm gonna cut it off. When you're riding on the street, it's actually a pretty awesome machine. It definitely gives you that feel of being on a sport bike, but the comfort of being on a kind of a normal street cruiser. And so if you are looking for a new bike and you want to transition from maybe a sport bike, but you want to still have the same feel as a sport bike, the Ducati is probably the way to go. It has LED tail lights, and it has LED turn lights in the front, and then it has the kind of the old school HID front headlight. I think some of the newer ones come with different configurations, but it is a nice, comfortable, sporty bike. So with that, in closing, I want to show you just the features one more time. Carbon fiber accents, HID lights, Ducati branding on the carbon fiber bits and on the R cooler, Bimbo brakes, and I said that we talk about the tires. The tires are kind of street racing tires. So you have the Pirelli Super Corsas, and then finally you have the Terminoni upgraded exhaust. So that's the end of my review. Please subscribe and like it below. If you have questions about this bike, please let me know. Again, I am giving you kind of a review from a perspective of a person who likes motorcycles, but doesn't know a lot about motorcycles, but that's kind of what you're going to be when you're the consumer buying bikes. And so with that, GB out.